Ladies and gentlemen, Bret Bielema spoke on Thursday morning, and for the first time in a while, I felt like the message coming out of that press conference, well, not press conference, I guess a media session, perfectly matched what I've kind of been saying about this football team since not just week one, but since the preseason. You maybe recall I said that every time we've talked about recruiting or the portal or the roster overall, I've said this Illinois team needs more playmakers, not just guys who can fill depth, not just solid contributors, but difference makers. And today, Bret Bielema essentially said the same thing out loud. Here's a little bit of the context. Bielema was asked on Thursday morning about recruiting, about the early signing period coming up, and the portal, and about how roster management is evolving now that we are in the NIL. And the key phrase that he used that caught everyone's attention was getting more playmakers. He talked about we could take up to 30 in the 2026 class. And what I found really interesting was he was flat out saying in years previous, he was so focused on retention. Whereas this year, he's going to go seek out more guys who can make plays. Boom. That's the shift right there. Because remember, for the last couple of years, again, Bret would always focus on retaining the talent he had in that locker room, on keeping his own roster intact, on building culture, on developing guys, or not being the team that focuses almost solely on the transfer portal. But the world has changed. NIL and revenue sharing have basically made retention a baseline. It's not optional anymore. It's the price of entry. So if you're not adding difference makers on top of that, you're honestly just falling behind. Let's call this for what it is. It's an evolution of the Bret Bielema model. He's been very open about how he prefers development over quick fixes, and that approach has given Illinois a ton of stability early in this tenure, but now it's 2025. Next year's going to be 2026. The market has simply shifted. Teams that sit back and wait their turn in the Big Ten are going to get passed by. So Bret, to openly say that they're going to be aggressive in the portal, that they may ask guys on the roster who are not earning their keep to possibly look for opportunities elsewhere, that tells you everything you need to know about where this program is headed. And keep in mind, the tone wasn't Bret Bielema being frustrated. This was Bret Bielema adapting. And frankly, he has to, because the biggest difference between Illinois and the Ohio States or the Indianas, it's not effort, it's not coaching acumen, it's the playmaking. Go back through the season's games. The losses to Indiana, Ohio State, and Washington. Those teams had dudes who could just win a play. Illinois has solid players, tough guys, but I don't think they can match the amount of difference makers that they line up against every single weekend on the outside. Not enough twitch, not enough suddenness in space. That is what I think Bret Bielema from this point forward is going to start hunting for. Bielema mentioned NIL and revenue sharing as part of why expectations have changed. And that's huge because it signals that Illinois is officially operating like a big program. It's no longer about, hey, we'll develop guys and hope for the best. It's we're paying real money to retain and attract the right guys. And it's not just a football issue, it's every sport now. But in football, the stakes are enormous. What this probably means behind the scenes is Illinois will prioritize portal money for impact positions, maybe wide receiver, edge rusher, maybe a corner or safety who can take the ball away. You can get solid linebackers, interior linemen through development, but playmakers, those cost money now. And that's where, quite honestly, you just can't be shy. Now, he also hinted that some guys, unfortunately, could be cut loose. And that's going to sound harsh, but it's the reality of college football in 2025. If you can't help a team win, if you're taking up a scholarship and not contributing on Saturdays, well, you're probably not going to be here much longer. Bielema's not a guy who loves that side of the business, but he's pragmatic. He knows that if Illinois is going to sign 25 to 30 kids in this next cycle, and still wants to bring in impact transfers, well, there's going to have to be some sort of turnover. And again, this is the first time, at least I remember, him publicly acknowledging that they're ready to play that game. And that tells me that he's looking forward to other programs and seeing what they've done, flipping entire offensive skill rooms through the portal and realizing that Illinois can't just sit back anymore. The staff is already working the JUCO and the flip market hard. Bret Bielema said himself there's a potential prospect they want to bring in, but the prospect has already made 2 visits, and after those 2 visits, there were coaching changes. Bret said that he was pretty confident that with his new 7-year deal that's not going to happen to him. The early signing period is less than a month away now, so you'll probably see a few last-minute pushes, especially at premium positions. But the story will be the portal window. They're going to use it like never before. And if you've been watching this show, you know I've been saying this for months now. Illinois needs to get faster. They need to get more explosive. And they need to modernize how they build this roster. And that's not a knock on Bret Bielema's core philosophy. It's more so an update to it. It's what Alabama did when Saban went from ground and pound to spread offense. It's what Michigan did when they finally embraced a passing game. It's an evolution, not an abandonment. So yeah, when Bielema said this morning that they're looking for playmakers, I'm not going to lie. I smiled a bit because that's what we've been begging to hear all season long. The program's foundation is strong. The culture, the toughness, the player development. But if we ultimately want to move from being good to the very good to the great, you need to stack athletes who can flip games with one touch. Illinois is about to take a more aggressive approach. Some familiar faces might move on. New stars come in, and the roster could look very different by spring ball. And that's not something to fear. That's something to celebrate. It means Illinois isn't content just being respectable. They're chasing wins. They're chasing difference makers. And they're chasing a ceiling that with the right additions could lead them to the college football playoffs. So keep an eye on the next month between JUCO flips, portal offers, and a massive 2026 class on the horizon. Things are about to get busy in Champaign. And if you've been listening to the show all year, as you should have been, well, hopefully you saw this coming, because Illinois doesn't need more bodies. It needs more ballers. And it sounds like Bret Bielema finally agrees. Thank you for watching that clip from one of our recent shows. If you liked what you saw, go ahead and watch the full episode. It should be right here on this channel. Better yet, if you are a fan of the Illini, make sure you're subscribed to Locked On Illini. I produce content for you daily. That's right, every single day, right here on Locked On Illini. Tell your friends, and I'll see you next time.